Hey, 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 good evening, good evening. Welcome to the live stream. Glad to have you in the building with me this evening and got some exciting stuff to share with you. And just let you know, we're going to be exploring using mind mapping for effective brainstorming and visual planning in today's show. And maybe you've used mind mapping and maybe you haven't. Regardless, in this show, I'm going to share how mind mapping is an effective way to help you organize your thoughts and harmonize your creativity and harness your creativity. And it is particularly useful for visual thinkers. And it is a non-linear way of processing your ideas and drilling down into brainstorming. So it's one of the techniques that I call out in the Blue Brainstorm Blueprint. I got to be able to talk tonight. It is one of the techniques that I call out there. So we're going to jump right into the content this evening, and I'm going to do this as quickly as I can, and hopefully you'll get some benefit out of it. So let's just start with what is mind mapping. What is mind? We know what brainstorming is. What is mind mapping? It is a technique used to visualize and organize information, as I said in the intro, and it involves you creating a diagram, a picture to represent your ideas, your concepts, your task, your linkages between parts of that idea, how you break it down. In some forms, it's a visual outlining tool. And you start with a central idea, and that's in the center of your mind map. It can be a circle, it can be a square, it can be an oval, it can be whatever you want it to be. But you start with the central idea. And if you go back a couple of videos ago, one of the things I talk about, and it's called out in the Brainstorm Blueprint, is brainstorm about a specific thing, not brain dump about a whole bunch of different things. So this is a targeted, intentional, you're fleshing out a particular idea or a central theme. So you start with this is how it works. You start with the central theme, and then you start creating branches off of that central theme. Um, let's say you use the five why: who, what, when, where, and why. Each of those can be a branch off of the central theme. And I'm going to show you an example a little bit later here. So, but it doesn't have to be that. And then you take those branches and you break them up into sub branches. You may move them around. You may add notes. You may add pictures. You may add emojis. You may add an audio file to it. And you don't write a, a book, is the way I'll say it. You just write words that make, keywords, bullet points. Maybe you use colors, you draw arrows, all of it to get your mind map fleshed out. And it's not about the mind map, it's about getting your thinking, what you're thinking, out of your head into something that you can see. And then once you're looking at it, you can see how the parts fit together or whether they fit together at all. Sometimes you'll have a part and you just kind of stick it over on the side. You don't want to forget it, but it doesn't really fit with this concept that you're working on. So that's what it is. Very briefly, a quick definition. Now, what the second thing is, what are the benefits? And before I get into the benefits, I'm going to hop into two things. I'm going to ask you, who's with us this evening, to answer a question. And I'm going to give you an opportunity as you all are greeting each other to answer this question. And I'm going to try to do this correctly. I think this is right. This is where I don't know if, yeah. This is the question. Have you used the mind mapping technique before? Have you used the mind mapping technique before? And there are three answers I want you to say. If your answer is no, you've never used it, put a one in the chat. If your answer is yes, you have used it, put a two in the chat. If you are willing to say, I'm willing to try it, put a three in the chat. So one is for no, two is for yes, three is I'll try it. Give you something new to think about. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to you fine folks who have joined. And it's so good to see folks that I'm familiar with in the building with me this evening. So, hello, 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 David Hunt. Glad to have you in the building. And here you go, talking about first. You made it, David. You first. Yay. Yay. And there she is. Hello, Miss Yolanda B. How are you doing? So glad to have you in the building. And I'm going to go back to moderator, Mr. Frank Jackson. Thank you for being here, serving and greeting everyone. Yes, good evening, everyone, and welcome. So glad to have you here. All right. And then, of course, happy Friday, Live Tribe from the Emotional CEO. Glad, another one of our moderators. So glad to have you here with us. It makes me happy to see so many people. And we have a new person, I think, Justice Jane. Love it. So glad to have you in the building and so glad to see you actually have not ever used mind mapping. Great. I think you will get something out of today's topic. David is misbehaving. Don't have a little red car. Okay. No worries. Hey, hey, Denise. So glad to have you in the building. And Denise, I think this is going to be really good for you as well because it's nonlinear thinking and it's as I was going through it, I did something I hadn't done in a long time. So that's be good. Hey, Tora, so glad to have you in the building. And there comes a little red car. I know you're going to have questions. I know you're going to have questions. Hey, Laura, you're over here from Tech Troublemakers channel. So glad to have you join us and be in the building with us this evening. And Denise says she has used mind mapping before. Frank says he has not used mind mapping before. Yolanda has not used mind mapping before. And Jane says one in three, you're willing to try. Awesome. So glad to see that you're willing to try. Um, and yeah, if you have a question, please put a Q colon in front of it. And I love this greeting. The number one sportscastress in these YouTube streets, Miss Yolanda B. Yes, 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 and yes. Hello, Miss Inanea, another one of the channel moderators and a superb supporter. Thank you for being in the building with me. So we got some folks who have not used mind mapping before. So a mind map, this is a product, a software version of a mind map. But let me just say, actually, let me go back. Why am I muted? Thank you for telling me. So what I was saying is don't talk about me and my pouch of 15 highlighters. I use them. That's why they're on my desk in this little pouch where they live. So let's go back to the mind map. So this is a mind map. And I started it with the central idea, my brainstorm idea. That was the intent. I was just going to put on here and I started with why, what, I got to use a mouse, who, and see I just realized I have what on here twice. So you catch things like that, when, this one should be where, so I'm just going to change this to where, just that quick. But where you see, I started out and I was asking some questions. Who do I want to include? Who will support? Uh, and then I was thinking this is a different idea, so I want to connect this one to that. So I'm going to move it and said uh, like a somebody for a brainstorm VIP session I'm considering. But then you see I have these numbers. These are emojis. I stuck them on there because I wanted to see these three ideas in an order. So the blueprint, a private Zoom thing, online course, and other offers. But at the end of the row, let me turn on my pro mouse. At the end of the row is a little arrow. And this arrow means I can expand out. So these are more ideas that I had about this particular topic. But I don't want to see all of that. I can fold it back up. Then down here is another arrow. Extend. I said, okay, I want to think about this. What kind of modules? What kind of recording? What kind of promotion uh, am I going to do? So, whatever you're thinking about, you can work on. So if I'm really kind of focused on this outline, I can go up here and say, I just want to focus. I want to kind of take everything else out of the way. And I just want to focus on this one little thought right here, an outline. Maybe I want to say, what is it going to be? Maybe I want to start naming it. It doesn't matter. But I can add, topic one, topic two. And all I'm doing is hitting the enter key. Topic three. Oh, I want to add something here and then say, this is my favorite topic. Doesn't matter what I write. Again, you can be using a pen and paper. So now I'm kind of done with that. I'm going to fold it back up. I'm going to come out of focus mode. And I need to see this in an outline now. I got all these arrows going every which way. I can come up here to my up in the upper left hand corner of this software and say, show me this in an outline. So everything that I had and all those arrows going every which direction, I'm now seeing in an outline. I can drag these things around and put them in a different outline. But maybe I want to see them in an outline and in the mind map. I can do that too. So if I want to move this to up here, grab it, drop it, I just moved it. So the beauty of this type of a tool is it's easy to make a change. You don't have to come up with the perfect answer. You can put partial thoughts down, you can put arrows down, you can change the color of the lines. If I want to change this to a different color, I can, and I'm going to do this wrong because I can't. Oh, actually, I'm going to talk about this. If I have an additional note I want to put here, I can add an additional note to, oh, this is my link. This is, you can link to websites. See, I'm doing it wrong. You can link to a website. So if I want to link to my website and say, I want to remind myself to go here and look at the blueprint. So I put the website there, link to it, Actually, it's a document. See, I'm doing it wrong. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. I can link to a document on on my computer. I can link to a website. I can put an audio file. I can put a video file. I can put an image from my phone. I can put notes from just typing in additional information. And you see what it did? It put this little icon right here to let me know I attached something to that thought. So the beauty is I'm not restricted to just an outline. I'm not having to write a paragraph. But if I want to write a paragraph, I can. I'm not restricted to where I think the information is going to be, leaving it there because I can just drag it and stick it on top of some other place, right? So if you're a nonlinear thinker and you are a visual thinker, mind mapping is huge, and you don't have to do it for everything. But sometimes it is the best way to puzzle out. Permission to rant. I hear, and I hear a lot of people say I did my thinking using an LLM. Pick one. Pick your favorite one. It doesn't matter which one, or a chatbot. And they're great. But what they don't do is give you your mind time to sort through what you're thinking. I'm a huge proponent of sorting through what I'm thinking, not having something else tell me what to think. Because once I see what this LLM gives me, now my creativity is colored by what this external thing has given me. When I put this mind map together, I used absolutely no LLM, no Chat GPT, no Claude, no nothing. It was just me sitting down, putting thoughts together, just putting it down. Is it perfect? Far from it, but it doesn't need to be. That's the beauty of it. I can connect things together like so. I can move this one back down here. I can move this one on top of here. So I can move these around. The other thing is, remember I said earlier, you may find a topic that doesn't fit. And something cropped up on the computer while I was working on this. I just took a screenshot and threw the screenshot on the page. What am I going to do with that? I'll figure it out later, but I'm not going to lose it. This is like having a giant whiteboard that you can put anything on, and you can make it look however you want it to look. And then I had this other question, and I was like, this question doesn't really go with this topic, so I'm just going to detach it and sit it over here by itself. I can start a whole nother stream of thought here, not lose it, and keep going about my business. That is how, in the brainstorming process, because when you're brainstorming and you're thinking through things, all kind of thoughts will come up. Sometimes they're relevant and related, and sometimes they're not. Rather than stopping your flow of your thinking, grab it or document it or write it down or capture it. Any of those words work, and just kind of shove it to the side and come back to it when you want to think about it. So I'm going to come back, and um, I'm going to show you guys. Well, I'm going to do this first. You can also output your mind map into a PDF. This is a PDF that you're seeing of what I have in the mind map software. All I did was clicked a couple of buttons and it made the PDF for me. Why is this important? Because sometimes I just want to see it and I want to maybe print it out and doodle on it and draw on the piece of paper, because whatever your mind is thinking, maybe I want to share it with another person. So rather than having the person have to come into this mind map software, I just give it to them in a PDF. Works great. The other thing you can do with this particular software is up here in the upper right corner, it's a little icon all the way up in the right corner. Let me kind of move this down. You can't see it. Right right here. And then there's a share button, a square with an arrow. This is the export a copy, but not only can I export it to a PDF, I can export it to a whole bunch of other formats. I can export it to FreeMind, which is another mind map tool. I can export it to OPML, which is a data translator. If you don't use it, don't worry about it. I can export it to an image. So basically, a picture. Instead of a PDF, I can say, give it to me as a picture. Both will work. I can export it to Markdown, which is a writing methodology or technique. I can export it to plain text. So if I just want to put it in plain text and pull it in a Word document or anything else I can. I can export it to, check this out, Apple Reminders and have it show up in my reminders, all of these things. Now, I would do this if I made a branch that's just task. And it links reminders and the mind map tool together. So if you check it off in reminders, it checks it off in the mind map tool. If you check it off in the mind map tool, it checks it off in reminders. So they're automatically linked together. Apple. So this is a Mac program. So Apple Reminders and this program, and I haven't told you what it is yet, and I will. I can format. I can change all kind of colors of lines and boxes, text style, all of the formatting tools that you're accustomed to are available. Um, I can do tags. I don't do tags, as you all know. I can change the way the mind map looks. Again, lots of formatting options in here. So there's a lot of flexibility. I'm plain Jane, plain Jane. So I just keep it pretty simple. Just because I want to see this. Sometimes I like outlines. Sometimes I like just seeing the mind map. And I can move it around because this is a huge canvas. It's not restricted to a individual sheet of paper. You can move it around. So I know I got questions, so I'm going to come back now and answer one or two questions. And yeah, okay. You want to know. People be wanting to know. People be wanting to know. So, David, I didn't tell you because I wanted to show you the power first. But the mind map tool that I'm using is one called Mind Node, MindNode, Mind Node. It's in SetApp. So if you are a Mac user and you have a SetApp subscription, it's in there. If you don't, you can buy it separately. It is a monthly subscription, which now I got to figure out how much. Yes, the dreaded mute scene. Oh my God. Oh, y'all funny. Y'all are funny. I'm funny to myself sometimes. It's all good. It is all good. If you have questions, yeah, let me know. Let me know. But it's my node. And the reason I switched to it for years, I used a product called iThought. But in 2024, iThought, the company that owned it, decided they were going to discontinue the product. Go figure. So that said, what are you going to use now? And there are lots of mind mapping software tools on the market. I like this one because it's easy, it's flexible. I can do everything I want to do with it. It works on my Mac, it works on my iOS devices, and it's a part of the SetApp subscription. So I'm not buying another tool. But if I ever leave SetApp, I also know that I can just get it by itself. So that's the reason I switched to it. And I like the fact that it has so many easy ways to export. The main ones for me are PDF, reminders, and task managers. And the other task manager that it'll export to directly, it's OmniFocus, but using that OPM translator, I can put it in just about anything. So my data is not stuck in there. I can get it out and get it into other formats. And it's a combination of an outline tool and a drawing tool. So those are the reasons that I find it very, very helpful to use. Okay. Um, Another question here. Let me go answer the question. What would you say is a big misconception people have about mind mapping? And I went to the wrong scene, but I'll come back. One of the misconceptions is that it's hard, and it really isn't. It's it can be fun. It's very freeing in the way it allows you to think. It's allows you to see connections that you wouldn't see otherwise. And it's because our brains don't think linearly. Our brains think nonlinear. It makes connections with things, with other pieces of information. Yeah, Denise, it's called MindNode, MindNode, MindNode. And again, you can use it on a Mac, you can use it on a iPhone, you can use it on an iPad. So it is a Mac product, and if you've not been here before, one of the things I share with people is I'm in a Mac ecosystem. So that's what I talk about. Do I know Windows? Yes. Do I use Windows? Yes. But for my purposes in my life outside of my corporate role, I only use Mac. So that's what I talk about because those are the tools that I use. So, any, if you have you, Denise, she said you love using mind maps. So I would be curious to know um, what are some of the ways you use mind maps? Are you using it in your brainstorming practice? Okay. More questions. All right. All right. All right. All right. The question is, how do you know when to stop adding to a mind map? Question number one. You can stop at any point. How do I know personally when it's stopped? I've got mind maps that I've been adding to for years, and I just keep adding to them and deleting from them. If I'm working on a particular project, for example, let me go back here. As I was working on this what, and I was like, oh, I started pulling out details, the next iteration or the next steps with the blueprint. This I'll pull out and turn into its own mind map and work through it. Once for example, once I launch this private event, I'll just take that mind map and store it because I may come back to it later when I want to go to iteration number two. Once I get the course done, I'll store it because I may come back and want to update the course. So that's an example where I started it here, but I'll literally take these and start their own little mind maps and I'll brainstorm through each one of these ideas. I could leave it attached here, but I won't. There's no right way and wrong way. Roy, is this the NCAA brackets? No, it is not the NCAA brackets. It's a mind map. The second question that came in is to that is it's the second one. When is it done enough to move forward? And that really depends on you. When it's done enough, when your brain says, I've got enough of what I need to turn this idea, this concept, this goal into reality. And for some people, I'll give you an example of how some people use this, and I'm aware of quite a number of people, and I've done it. Writing a book, for example, the starting parts of that book, they start with the mind map. And I think back to when I came through school and they taught you first do your bibliography and then do your research and find all the stuff and then do your outline. I just do all of that pre-work. Just do it all in a mind map. Just do it all in a mind map. Then when it's enough, it's when you've got enough content or enough thinking and enough planning where you can really truly begin to write. You're actually putting the words down on paper or on the document to write that book, that ebook, that letter, whatever it is that you're writing. For me, sometimes I start a mind map to think through a project that I'm starting. Example, if I'm, and I literally have mind maps like this, so that's why I can draw on it. Starting a project that it's going to be turning a huge data center into an office. I've done several of those. And most of them started as a mind map. I just started dumping, putting in down, okay, this thing has to turn into an office and it's a gigantic data center. What are all the pieces and parts I need to think about? I first got to get the building empty. And I may just start there. I got to get the building empty, right? And it may be I've got to hire contractors. I've got to put RFPs out. I've got to review those RFPs. I've got to work through the contracting and get all the contracts signed. So I use mind maps in all kinds of ways. Everything from these big projects where literally I've taken humongous, like blocks long data centers and turned them into offices, to as little as I'm just moving 3 people, or we're about to upgrade a ERP system, or I want to rearrange the closet in the house. So everything in between, they are great for because it's non-linear thinking. This is non-linear thinking. I saw somebody come in here and now I'm nervous. Hey, Mr. Alec Johnson, so glad to have you in the building. Leave a question, although I don't think you would have anything to ask me, but feel free to ask a question. I love answering questions. And no worries, Roy, welcome to the show. This is not the NCAA brackets. It is a mind map. It is a mind map. Um, and Denise, you said, what do you mean by SetApp? So SetApp is it's a Mac app store. And I think it's Alec, you can help me. I think it's about 110 or $120 a year. But within that app store, you have roughly 200 applications that you can just use. You download them and you use them. You don't pay extra for them. It's baked into that annual subscription. And the applications change all the time. Things come in, things go out. One of my all-time favorite apps that I've used from the Set app for years is Ulysses. I use it to write with. It's a friction-free writing tool. So when I have a lot of long form writing to do, I'll do it in Ulysses. I use it through Set app. Uh, my note that I'm showing today, I use through Set app. There are a number of them. And then there are little bitty ones that you use, like a menu bar manager. So over 200 apps are in there. You you could easily spend that much on a handful of subscriptions that are in there every year. Denise, you have a comment here, or I'm not sure if it's a comment or a question. So I'm going to try to work through this. But it says, if I was planning a program, I would start with I would start with the outcome and start branching out components needed, drilling down with each branch for each piece. Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Say, would you consider offering a live mind map session sometime? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would love to do that. As you all saw, I had an event on that mind map. I told you when I started this, um, I didn't anticipate what was going to happen. And that's the beauty of using a mind map. You don't anticipate what's going to come forth. Welcome, 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 Philip. So glad to have you in the building. Another awesome content creator out there. Yes, Set App is a fantastic tool. It's amazing to me. I'll just say this, Alec. Um, I feel like we run on the same track from a tool perspective. You'll say something and I'll go, I've been using that tool about that long. OmniFocus, Keyboard Maestro, Text Expander. Although I did start Text Expand, I started using Text Expansion with the Windows product before I switched to the Mac, which I still really like that product. I just don't use it because it's Windows only. Uh, hello, Professor James Hicks. So glad to have you in the building. Yes, what Alex said. What Alex said. Eh, Roy, what are you talking about? My maps have so many detours and dead ends. Well, the beauty, back to the beauty of mind mapping is you can take a lot of detours and you'll discover something new, right? You'll discover something that you didn't see just because your brain is making the connection. Think of these lines as little, they're literally connections your brain is making as you draw it out. So what I talked about, back to Torah, you said, would I do a live mind map class? And that's this number 2 right here. Private Zoom VIP lounge event for community members. And if I expand it out, I started thinking, how long would I be? Maybe 90 minutes. I'll have to do some kind of a launch campaign. I'll, of course, want people to register. So I just kind of very quickly threw those ideas out because it was a surprise to me when I started that I would even consider doing a live mind map session. But me going through this process of saying, asking, well, what about this? And that these comments came. And so I'll cook them in the mind map until they're ready to go. All right. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Awesome, 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 Denise. You just bought a MacBook Pro. Look into it that if it's not too pricey. So again, setup is somewhere in the 110 to 120 a year price range, but it's worth every penny. It is worth every penny. Tools, the tool that I use to do screen captures called Capto, it's a setup tool that I use because I can do screen recordings as well as still images. I can do minor edits in it. I don't have to bring up Final Cut Pro, which is a heavier product, even though it's lighter than DaVinci, but it's a heavier product. It's easy. I can organize those images and those recordings into categories within it. Uh, the menu bar tool that I use, the um, copy paste tool that I use, Setapp. I don't need to go get a separate product. They all are right there for me. And because I can use those tools on my Mac, my iPads, and my iPhones, it makes it, I'm not buying multiple versions of anything. I've got the one subscription and I'm off and running. So that is what I wanted to share with you all. today. And Denise, we need to get you on eCam. We need to get you on eCam. Your streaming life will be so much easier. Trust and believe. Your streaming life will be so much easier. What I wanted to share with you all again today is digging more into this concept of brainstorming and knowing that there's a tool you use. I shared you can use a mind node. You don't have to. A sheet of paper and a pen will work just fine. A sheet of paper and a pen will work just fine. It's simple things you can do. Start with a central idea and start branching off and just let your mind roam and flesh out your ideas. If you want to drill down to one part, drill down to one part. Think about if you were doing this with sticky notes, you just stick them up all over the place. It's not a whole lot different than that. But it'll take that central idea and you can really, really drill into it and make it work. I love AI. I use it every day, but that does not replace what my brain comes up with for myself and the way I actually think about it. And you're no different. You have your own unique form of creativity and the way you think about everything. There is not a machine that will replace that. And I'm really intentional about ensuring I support you and still leaning in and believing in what I have naturally, innately in me, I can get out and be producing something that is good for the world. That's really my desire is to help you, whether you are a volunteer leader, a small business owner, a bifurcational professional, it doesn't matter. We all have something unique to give to the world, and it comes from here. It comes from our own brain, not from something external giving it to us. So that is it for tonight. Unless someone has additional questions, I want to give you. Um, Thank you, Alex. See, I knew he would have the details. Alec gave us the answer. Set app is 11.25 a month or 13.88, 134 a year. Replace so many, yes, but it does have an affiliate program. It does have an affiliate program. Just know. And if you want to use it, I'll share my affiliate link. Set app is $9.99 for the regular subscription. There is slightly higher one for Mac plus iOS apps. And because I've always used the Mac plus, I didn't pay attention to the others. Um, all right, Tora, thank you for saying this was a helpful way to explain it and breaking it down. Thank you so much for the positive feedback. And of course, you have another question. Yay. Most people are scared to admit they're still fuzzy on their purpose. What advice for the one struggling with the central idea starting point to put in the center of the map? That's a loaded question. You all know my four words: prayer, peace, purpose, and productivity. And you have to know it may not be perfect. Your purpose, when you start, if you don't know what your purpose is, it won't be perfect. It will change. You will change. And I'm going to use Alec because I just watched his show last night, and I actually took his class about confidence. And Alec, if you can put in the comment the name of the your book that's coming out, because my brain is being fuzzy right now. Um, but he talks about when he started his YouTube channel, the reason he started it. And in the process of doing it, his purpose revealed itself. So, my answer to you is putting whatever you start in the center of the map, whatever the idea, the thing is you want to bring forth and you want to birth into the world, whether it's in a purpose that is your life purpose or not, you're going to have something that you want to bring forth and birth. Start there. And whatever that is, I'm going to again go back since he's here, use Alec because I literally just took his course and he talked about this in his show last night. How he got to producing this course and writing this book on confidence on camera was his own journey. But when he started, he didn't know that was this where he is today was his purpose. But he's found, as he says, he's found his ikigai, his purpose. Okay? So the advice is start where you are. Start exactly where you are and just start. Don't be afraid to start. Don't try to be perfect. Just say, I'll get better the next time. I'll fix this one thing the next time. I'll say this thing different the next time. I'll add one more button to my Stream Deck the next time. I'll figure out how to use one more part of this software the next time. I'll show up 10 minutes earlier so that I'm calm when I start the next time. Be willing to start where you are and be willing to go through the process and trust it. Thank you, Alec. Yes, the confidence switch. And if you all are not subscribed to his channel, it's Take One Tech. And I now see you got an Alec Johnson channel. Uh, the Take One Tech channel. Go join it. Alec and is a phenomenal leader and educator. But there, all of you all are. I learned from Denise. I learned from Alex. I learned from James Hicks. I learned from David Hunt. I learned from Yolanda. I learned from Tora. Each of you have something unique that sows into my life in a positive way. And none of you all cross where you fit. All right. Don't mention that Stream Deck. It's almost out of time, out for disappearing. Hey, Elgato is, woof. Alec, I will tell you this, and I said this on Doc Rock's video he posted a couple of days ago when he showed the Elgato new form factor where it's just the box and it's not in the casing. And he was talking about how they showed using the little 6-key Stream Deck and then larger ones, and you program the 6-key Stream Deck to run the others. I said they done took Alex's idea because he'd been talking about that for a long time. They just took his idea and changed their product based on what you have been teaching people to do. It's kind of funny to see. It's just kind of funny to see. I'm just saying somebody needs royalty off of that idea because it wasn't theirs in the beginning. Just saying. So I don't have anything else. This has been fun. I will definitely keep you all updated when I'm ready to do the live training on brainstorming using mind mapping. I wanted to introduce you. This is another part of helping you understand what you can get out of the brainstorm blueprint. It's a worksheet. You can get it right on my website. One of the moderators will drop the link in chat. And it's just a worksheet to walk you through some simple steps you can follow with one goal and one goal only. And that is to get you to where you birth that thing that's inside of you. Yes, run me my money. Run me my money. um, so yeah, you're gonna get a 3D printer. Oh my goodness. You're gonna have that 1200 key Stream Deck desk that they showed in their promo. That's what it's gonna be, Alec. You're gonna have it laid out. We're gonna see a live stream. Alec is gonna be laying across his 1200 keys. Just saying. Anyway, you guys, this has been a blast. I love being with you. I love it when you get something positive that you can take back and apply in your own world, in your own business, in your own ministry, with your own life. I will see you all in the next video. Wait a minute. What do you mean the link is not working? Hold on. I'm going to put it in for you. That should work. And Denise, you know how to get in touch with me. So reach out anytime, my friend. You guys have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.